And we're back with the question and answer session here for session 2, technically session 4, but like with Tira Kel and Darionator. Make sure you're checking out Tira Kel on YouTube under Tira Kel, and Darionator.com for Darja stuff, and of course Jrdf.sc, which is another thing that Darja is working for. So if you want to get those beautiful Star Citizen models. I actually had the first question I had, because people have talked about this before, Darj, because this comes up a couple times. When is JRDF going to be making a Hammerhead model?
Oh, that is a very good question. I haven't had a chance to ask JR yet because it is his favorite ship. And his personal Hammerhead is the HMS Thunderchild, which he named after the only surviving ship from the Worlds. Well, I don't know. I think right now the best thing to do would be wait for the Golden Pass. Not the Gold Pass, the Gold Pass. Because they are adding rooms, they are adding stuff on the interior that may translate to changes on the exterior. But yeah. As a rule, we don't make ships until they are in game. So I guess we could have made it a long time ago. How big is it? Is it?
It's the same size as the 600 or close to it. So it's similar.
So smaller than the Carrack.
So
it's wider,
smaller than the
but
Carrack. Yeah.
It's probably a 500 scale.
Yeah, definitely a 1 to 500 scale. Yeah. So there's really no reason why we wouldn't have. Probably because a lot of people haven't been asking for it until now.
Especially with the updates coming out.
Yeah, we do ask. We do keep an eye out on what people are wanting us to do, and we also have a poll on our website to help us decide what the next kits are going to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah. If people are interested, I will. MSR is actually being made.
Yeah,
I can confirm that. I can confirm that
wow.
MSR is done in everything other than some graphic art and legal stuff, and we just need to wait until we're done with this huge project that we're currently involved with, so we can get back to making kits.
And Darionator actually, it's funny because Darionator reached out to me about the MSR, about the packaging. So JRDF every so often reaches out to me about packaging because they're like, "Is this information correct, Paul? is this lore stuff right?"
Yeah.
So
it will be the 1 to 500 because it is as big as the butt of the of the Carrack. So if you have the Carrack model, I have it over there. I could probably just show how big it's going to be. So
real quick,
I'll be back.
All right. Darch comes back. I'll ask this question for you then, Kel. What's the next soldier's perspective? Is it E-War still, or are you doing something else?
For now it is. I may pop something out on the Spirit, the A1, because it is a good smaller bomber that will have a different role, right? If the Hercules is a strategic bomber, then this is more of a tactical bomber. I hope they introduce something that allows that ship to have a little bit more precision. And then I've still wanted to do something on the Centurion that would involve testing. I'm just waiting for a version where we can buy it in the game because I didn't buy one, but I would love to just pick a spot and then talk about the effectiveness or lack of effectiveness. I mean, because that platform with that weapon system on top should be pretty hard if it's got numbers associated with like 2 or 3 systems. Should be pretty effective. So I think that would be in players' hands anyway. So I think that would be a good video too. But as far as like a deep dive into a military profession, it is still EW. I've got to do an interview with a guy who did it back in the 80s and 90s. And that will focus in on, we'll say, more releasable things that are declassified, right? Kind of the stuff that we know we can talk about and that is very commonplace. And then we get into, there's someone I can talk to if I can get her on the line about kind of the more modern stuff. But a lot of the effects generated will be the same. until you hit classified, which I'm just not going to talk about. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
you don't want to go to jail, so that's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's some core things you can talk about for E-War and how it should behave in the game, and then beyond that, they could really let their imagination go wild. But yeah, that's what I'm working on. I've got maybe a 30% solution right now, and then I've got to get these interviews knocked out, but I just don't have time.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Darsh, were you showing off?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Microphone also good. So this is the backside of the Carrack in 1-500, and the MSR is surprisingly almost the exact same shape. So
That's
it's
about the
got
size.
the same width, the same height. So of course it kind of tapers more. But this is what it would look like in 1-500. In a 1-200, it would be 2.5 times bigger. So that would be the biggest kit that we've ever made. It's so in 1-500. Somebody. Oh, and by the way, this is then the front half of the Carrack. So,
yeah. Okay. So what you're saying is you don't have a banana for scale, but it's maybe like half a banana.
Yeah.
It's like
this is 25. This is 25 centimeters long or 10 inches. Okay. So the 1-200 would be even bigger than that, and oh my god, wider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So big. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the questions from the chat itself. The first question comes from Rash Mordor, who asks, do you guys think that we, as players, will be able to own these new UGFs on their base variations, small, medium, and large, either by building or by acquiring them?
I'm going with yes, because they did mention ship, repair stations, and refineries that will be able to be player owned. I don't see why they shouldn't be all also on the ground instead of just on the surface.
Yeah.
Maybe the small ones, but not the big ones that do require like a huge corporation to finance.
There's no reasons why they couldn't do it, but they would need to have a way of building it. There need to be some sort of system in place, which we haven't heard of yet. This because them placing it is important, but is easy. But
Pioneer is not going to be able to do this.
No.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have as you joked, the borer, the boring ship, to bore through meters of rock.
$600.
Yeah,
$600, 10 of 10.
Or you can actually see the prospector doing what it was doing in its promo, where it's boring straight down into the ground. But that again would require deformation of the planet and stuff like that. So.
Planet deformation. I don't think they're going to allow. That's a whole different level of confusion for the game. I think
owning old ones, like decommissioned old Hearthstone stuff, sure,
that might be true.
Building new ones, probably not.
Yeah,
and they could in theory, because we have Quanta and we're going to have Quanta and all that. I mean, you could contract for Quanta, right? NPCs to build it, and they could come out and it could go into depending on the size of the station, or the UGF, like a 1 month process where it slowly builds up kind of pseudo imperceptibly until it's done. And you just have NPCs out walking around doing stuff. That could be a thing they do. And then it kind of slowly, the server makes that a permanent entity unless it gets destroyed. But I mean, they've not spoken about anything like that. That is pure theory craft. I mean, right now, all we can do is plop down a shelter in a Pioneer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let's get that first.
Yeah, let's get that first, and then we'll worry about getting super slick.
Yeah,
city building capability.
I think if UGF stuff will probably be set dressing for now, for the immediate future, and I think down the line, post 1.0 release of Star Citizen, that you would see something like being able to build your own UGFs. That sounds like a very common type of. And now we're going to do this DLC with this.
Yeah. They're going to release chapter 2 or 3 of Squadron.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, and with this you can.
Yeah, exactly. TFSX Pasternak1 asks, do you think they will make a competitor ship for the Perseus? Something else that punches hard but uses less weapon, uses some other weapon platform, maybe laser cannons instead of ballistics, for example, or maybe even a modern frigate in the same size range of the Perseus, but rather than the Idris.
Do we need another ship that punches above its weight class?
Not anytime soon.
I don't think so, but I do think that Anvil is due for a bigger ship. And let me go into my lore, tinfoil hat. There's been multiple references to Anvil working with a specific or at a specific location, which is MacArthur. MacArthur Skydocks are not built for small ships. They're built for massive capital ships. That's where they build them.
Okay.
And there's been references at Invictus of Anvil going to MacArthur to work with the UAE about the next generation of something. So it's like, okay. We also know that in the lore, the progenitor of Anvil, which was Case Aerospace, actually was set aside by the UAE to build a replacement for the Perseus after the Idris got ballooned into what it is today in the lore. And it was never built because Case himself died in an aerospace accident, and they lost a contract because they didn't trust the team that was there, only Case. So there is and Anvil owns all of Case's designs, which is why we have the Hurricane, because the Hurricane was originally a Case Aerospace. So there's somewhere in the Anvil archives a design for a frigate or a gunship, somewhere between a gunship and a frigate, sitting in their folders in lore somewhere to be found. It wouldn't matter so much if it wasn't for that reference and the reference at Invictus, and the fact that there's been rumors floating around of the Anvil longbow for a very long time. So I don't think it would be happening soon. I do think it's not an impossibility that we see a concept ship at IAE.
Yeah.
Of something like that from Anvil, and it being just a giant rail gun. Just something that's just they take the railgun off the Idris and slap it onto the ship. It's just designed as to bore through capital ships. Kind of like how the Perseus is designed to bully smaller ships. This thing is designed to like punch above.
But I mean, yeah. So I see it like, so the Perseus is an escort ship for a larger ship.
Yeah.
Right. It's in theory supposed to be able to, because the only time we've seen I don't know, capital ship combat in this game is undefined with regard to how it's going to work, right? So you see, that when CIG put two Idris together back in citizencon and flew them at each other, they flew them like fighters, and it looked stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea of there being a competitor to the Perseus, I'm all for. I love the Perseus. I think it's fantastic. It's very efficient for the size and power of the ship for a 6-man crew. Excellent. Should there be a competitor? Yes. In the same way that there should be an anti-fighter competitor for the Hammerhead. Options are great. I fully believe we may get a concept, but I don't think you will see that ship for 3 or 4 years.
5, 3, 4 years, whatever,
because it's just not a priority, right? So I think what they're gonna, and it's just not a priority. I think it would be a good thing to do, but I don't know that it's and it'll generate a lot of money for the company, right? Because people will buy that thing like mad, but I don't know that it's needed anytime soon. So there's that. I think it would be great. I love an Anvil cap ship. I think that would be amazing, but I love Anvil. So
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're going through some of these things. Yeah, I agree though in general that we're if we see something, it'll be a concept ship and it'll be out years, And I think that's the important thing to remember as well, is that I think people need to start, because CIG will never say this, but people need to start like realizing and recognizing and telling people, like when you see like a big capital ship coming out, it's like that's not coming out until 2030. Like, this ship has been promised. It's not coming out anytime soon. If you're buying this, you're buying this for the future. Like super down the line, do not expect it to come
Yeah.
out anytime soon because that's
And
the problem right
they
now.
implied in this CitizenCon, I took it as they implied that like the Idris was gonna release, and I was everybody in the chat that I was in was like, oh wow, I was like, that's not gonna happen.
No.
I don't know what they're saying there. I don't know what they mean to be saying there, but that shit's not coming out until after Squadron releases.
Squadron. Yeah.
Because they have been very firm on that. But it
Yep.
sounded like they were like, yeah, and the Idris, it'll be, something coming soon or doing something. I was like, no.
It's done. I think the Idris
It's done.
is done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's done, but they're not going to put it in
Not
our
gonna release it
hands.
until-
Is it though?
Yeah. I think that's what was the implied was that it's finished for Squadron.
Yeah.
That it's
It is finished for
Squadron.
Squadron, yeah, but that is a very specific ship that is specifically set up with single player gameplay in mind. They have to completely strip that out and make it workable with players, lots of players and lots of modular NPCs that don't have a specific like setup.
But that may be the implication is that it's finished in terms of like they're not going to go back and redesign it like they've done it twice already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
In terms of design and everything, yeah, that is done. But actually making it a playable entity in the MMO, that I believe they're either still working on or they're done, but they're waiting for Squadron to release.
Well, and somebody in the chat just said, and add resource management.
Yeah.
That's probably, they probably have it all mapped out where it's going to go, but integrating that system into it is something that has to happen, because I think that'll be transparent to us in Squadron, right? Because you're a fighter jock, right, and a ground pounder, but all the typical sci-fi all-in-one fighter jock / infantryman supreme
hero,
but yeah, that's the NPC's problem to faff about with stupid maintenance. I'm the hero.
Hail, chosen one.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a situation where you have to like reprogram something and they'll have some aspect to it, but you're not sitting there balancing power in combat.
You're not doing relay gameplay.
No. That might be a puzzle where you just have to run around with only one relay and just randomly plug it into things while everything is exploding around you, sort of situation.
Now you may have to do it on a mission somewhere to achieve something, but not as a part of like the Idris you're fighting off of.
No,
that's not gonna. So yeah, they'll have to put all that in for the PTU or the PU and all that.
Mm-hmm. Axis 0096 asks, is the E1 ship a tier 1 version of the Genesis Starliner? It was implied. It's made by the same company. So
I mean, they're really spooling up Crusader pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Crew say? Didn't John Crew say that that the dude was created just to make Jared salivate?
Yes. Well, it also like let's take a look at the history. CIG wanted to do transport missions at the end of last year, didn't get it done. But it was close enough that they added it to the pipeline and decided last minute to pull it so they could put some more time into it. Now they're doing this next VIP transport ship specifically. Well, it's not specifically transport, but it has this aspect with the Mixmaster and everything else that they're talking about. It's like for a concept, which is probably going to go live somewhere around IAE next or Invictus next year. They haven't said exactly when it's going to release, but they said it's going to release soon. It looks like they already started on a lot of the work on it. So
I wonder if it is one of the unannounced ships on the roadmap that are just gonna next update switch over to
just surprise, it's ready.
Yeah.
I mean, well, like, can we check like how far along are a couple of those unannounced ones?
One of them's done. One of them's in.
That was
in final
probably the STV.
Going for my pocketbook.
They specifically say the ground vehicle is finished, which is the Steve, and then I'm
Steve.
calling it Steve.
Oh yes,
because it's STV. It's the Steve. It's the Grey Cat Steve. You got the Peeve, you got the Steve, and you got the Ute. That's what you got. Yeah.
Nah, because the utility one's coming out.
Yeah,
which is a Polaris, by the way. Like, are they paying copyright to Polaris for that?
It's
design?
Literally a Polaris. Yeah,
it is. I was like, what the? I've driven that.
Yeah.
And it was really quick, but did you see the reconcept of the PTV?
Yes.
Now
really
that
quick.
looks good.
Looks
That
nice.
looks very nice. Mm.
I'll tell you,
the PTV is like the oldest asset we have right now in the game.
For the Steve though, the thing that I really want to see is I should be able to those racks in the back for cargo boxes should stop the countdown for the Zeta Proletaine or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, those little racks you can put it plug and slip.
Yeah. But almost every mission has 3 of those boxes, and you only get 2 in the vehicle. But it should stop the timer. That would be pretty cool. So you could. It's a stabilizing rack as well.
Yeah.
That could be an upgrade or something.
Paul, if you name your STV Steve, I'm gonna name my PTV Steven with a PH. So
yeah, Steven with a PH. Steve.
No, Steve.
Steve. Yeah.
Steve.
All right, and I didn't name it. That was chat. But yeah, I think that's the hint is that they're getting towards that passenger gameplay. It's happening sooner rather than later, and I think that the fact that they're planning this out, because CIG's even said they don't make ships until they're ready to go. So
yeah, right. I'm looking at unannounced stuff. They literally nerfed that so much. It's just unannounced, not unannounced ship, just unannounced.
Look at the latest monthly report. Look at the latest monthly report. They have specifically what the status has in the latest monthly report. And I'll move on because we got 20 minutes in. We got 20 questions left. I'm gonna have to cut some of these out.
Right. We're already too late. Yeah. Okay. Go.
Yeah. All right. Pasternak asks, do you think they will be making the Perseus bigger since it's a frigate? And if yes, what do you think the odds of the full space? No, it's not a frigate.
Perseus isn't a frigate. Absolutely not. It's
like a gunship.
It's a gunship. It's an the World War II PT boats.
Yeah.
It's like that, only bigger. It's not even.
It's maybe a Coast Guard cutter.
It's not even a Corvette.
Maybe? No.
It maybe could be considered a Coast Guard little Corvette, like a mini one, but it's not a Corvette, right? No. It's just so. I mean, that's why the only break in what is a cap ship and what isn't a cap ship in Star Citizen is, does it have a cap ship component?
Yeah.
And it won't. It has all size 3s. So just like the Hammerhead. So it's not a Corvette, right? And that's what makes the what is it? The Corvette. It's another one that starts with a P.
Polaris.
That's got, I think, 1 cap ship component, which takes it over the edge, right? Into that realm. It's also very big. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it will grow in size at all. And it doesn't need to, because it's a really tight package with a lot of pew pew.
Another question on the Perseus. With its speed allegedly being so slow already, how bad will the quant mode hit, or will it just scrape by without being affected? Armor. That ship is in lore armored, and that's its whole shtick. It was built before shields were a thing, so it was especially for ships that size. So it's built with oppressively over armored for what it's supposed to do, which is why it's slow. So the armor is what's going to save it. So yeah, and I'm going to clarify this again. There was already a clarification by Yogi on CIG's on Spectrum that said that the ship's shields do not just disappear when you switch into quantum mode. They slowly go down as you spool up. So the closer you get to going into quantum, the smaller your shields are going to get. So when
that energy goes into a capacitor, right?
Yes.
So it can be immediately pumped back into the shields when you come out of.
You switch modes. Yeah. You just switch modes and it immediately pops right back up and will not be affected by incoming fire. So you'll have like a brief invulnerability moment when you switch, just for a few moments before it goes in there. So
I will say it is fascinating that the Perseus is that slow, because as a small ship, it should be kind of a harassing, skirmishing, flanking ship.
Well, it's slow for other ships of its size, because it's the same size as the Con.
Maybe. So as long as it is faster than other capital ships and it can harass and skirmish, I think it will fit well for its mission, because it is got those larger guns for anti-cap ship kind of harassment stuff. But it's definitely but it is a brawler. And that's it's going to be a little bit slower.
It's going to be slower than, say, the 600i or the
Oh,
MSR.
yeah.
But that's which are about the same size. I think it's slightly bigger than the 600i is its size, but it's smaller than the Hammerhead. So being smaller than the Hammerhead means it's going to move faster than the Hammerhead, likely, but not by much. All right, next question. Steps TV asks, how do I mix myself a quantum juice? Someone has to make that a cocktail. Is that a not so subtle
Gin and
hint?
tonic.
Is it GT? My in-laws have one of those Mixmaster machines. These things are pretty awesome. Yeah.
Not even that Yogi's post talked about what was visible in the video. So some of the information was there. Oh, you've seen that. Okay. Yeah. I already made a quantum core drink way back. I have to recreate it. I don't even have the recipe for it anymore, but
yeah, and also the Meyer-Meyerson. So
yeah, the Meyer-Meyerson, which is great. It's just alcohol. It's just alcohol.
It's not. It's energy drink as well.
Yeah, energy drink and alcohol. It's give yourself a heart attack and die. You know. Yeah, cranberry juice, sugar-free Red Bull, and Testahol. Yeah, which was schnapps. You were the one who brought it up. Gin and tonic asks,
and it is energy free. Sorry, sugar free energy drink because we don't want you to give too much energy.
Gin and tonic asks, opinions on the Spirit completely ignoring the well-established Crusader ship naming conventions.
Genesis, so no.
No, it's along the same size as the civilian transport side, because you have the Genesis and you have the Spirit, and and I think I honestly, if CIG could get away with it and not get sued, they'd have called it the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
they're a Christian company. Like that's their lore. They're from a Christian background. Like that would be a very much thing. I
don't know who would sue them, but
they get in trouble. Not as a sue.
They might get in little
trouble. Yeah,
little tweets would come at them.
What would the subtitles be? Like you have the Mercury Star Runner.
Yeah,
and you have the Genesis Star Lifter. So this would be the Spirit Star what?
Star Shuttle, probably.
Star Hopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got three different things, so it's these.
Well, the A2 or what is it? A1, whatever.
A1.
So
yeah, it still has
Star
three
Bomber
different ones as well. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
So, Star Bomber,
Star Bomber,
Star Cruiser. Yeah.
The Holy Hand Grenade.
That's true. We have had the Holy Hand Grenade in games for years, but they need to try to not be as like they try to not connect enough to that kind of attention sort of thing. So
I agree. Yeah. And I think they've done a pretty good job of walking the line, right?
Yeah. They do a good job of that, and it's also would be a little tacky to do that, but it's definitely in that.
Oh
vein,
yeah.
They could have easily called it something similar along those lines, like the what is the name? The name of the main basilica in Rome?
St. Peter's.
Is it St. Peter's Basilica?
Yeah.
They could have called it the I'm trying to think of it. Some pull out some Latin from the Bible or another call it the axe, the Crusader axe, ACTs, because it's different multiple roles. It kind of fits in that kind of thing, or another Bible title, something like that. They could have done that as well. So,
yeah.
So, all right. Next question goes on to Steve B. Dancer, who asks, do you feel instead of doing an investigation mission, they should do data running missions? This is what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
I think they're two separate, but yeah.
I mean, I think you should be able to use your data racks to move. It's like, I think in a tier 0 sense, you should be able to purchase data in one location, load it into your data runner, and move that said data to another location.
Yeah, but that's just cargo hauling without the bulky cargo. So it's
But it allows
not-
you to use a ship that you bought for data running that has no function.
Sure,
right?
sure, but is it worthy of a CitizenCon demo?
Oh no. I just
But
think they
neither
should
was
put
the
it in the
investigation
game.
mission.
Oh yeah,
Neither was
definitely.
the. I just put it in the game. Yeah, I mean, I think
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
right. I mean, no, I don't think it was worth CitizenCon. Congratulations, we have a new form of box that isn't a box.
Yeah.
No, but I think like letting the MSR and the Herald use their data racks to move data would be fine.
The Caterpillar has them as well, I believe.
Are those data racks for moving data, or is that just to keep that ship in the air?
A good question.
I don't know, because the Carrack also has a huge data rack set off the bridge.
Yes.
But I
believe
think
it's just for blades.
That's for astrogation and all
Yeah.
that and mapping and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Could be, yeah, could be.
I don't know. I think investigation is fine. I don't think it's worth.
It's fine
deep
enough.
Dive they did.
I think I'd love to see data running missions, but I'm sure they want to do something other than box missions for data running. I think that's the key. Is the reason why they did
somehow capturing the data with those huge antennas on the Herald, for instance.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I feel like that's easy enough to do, but it's fine.
It is.
I don't know.
It's probably easy. It's probably easy, but the issue is not necessarily easy. It's availability. Like how much time did they have to work on this and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Those factors come into play. It's just not a priority is the answer because it's not a priority.
Yeah. That's easy. I don't know. Yeah.
And
it's not easy probably.
And why is the investigations being prioritized? Because they want to do bounty hunting. And bounty hunting, what is one aspect of bounty hunting? Investigations.
Yeah. Finding out who done it.
Yeah. So
and where they are instead of just follow the marker over there and kill them.
Here's my god marker. Go find them. Yeah. So, all right. Next question comes from Stevie Dancer, who asks, "Does anyone know who made that set for JRE? For Jared?
It wasn't us.
Jared.
It wasn't us.
No, they built it themselves.
You're gonna have that installed in your house. Pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. I gotta replace this green screen with just an actual background of.
Yeah, move to pyro.
Yeah,
easy.
Move to pyro. Just move to pyro. That's just good for this.
Someone in chat just said contractors.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes,
probably,
it would be. It would be contractors, yes, but it was not JRDF, as was probably the question.
What's really sad though for me is that set was gorgeously Star Citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was wonderful. Whoever did that did a better job of capturing the inside of a Phoenix, probably for way less money than the guys who did the Star Wars hotel captured Star Wars. And that was funded by
Disney.
Disney.
Yeah.
Disney. And it's like, come on, guys, you could have done better. Like, take a look at Star Citizen. Like this captured exactly the first thing I said when I saw that is, wow, they're gonna have a modular thing where it'll be the podcast mod for the Phoenix. Yeah. And it'll just be a couple chairs and a table and a desk, and then you can put that in your Phoenix and have in-game podcasts. Yes. Like that they should bring that out. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love the name of it as well. It's like I love that it went with Jared's.
They foreshadowed it in the freaking lore too, because they did a lore video, the thing right before, which they talked about. I tweeted about it because I thought it was a funny thing, like a nod to Jared, because it was the only constant is broadcasting from Stanton. And they joked about how long it would take before the transmission breaks down from Stanton, and then they opened it up when they said, "Oh, it's the only constant." I'm like, you fuckers, like, stop doing this to me. Like, I accidentally was like, hey, yeah, cool, this is the thing, and the hours before it was the thing. So yeah. All right, next question comes from Stevie Dancer, who asks your thoughts on the Spirit, and did any of you buy it?
I bought it.
Which one?
The A1.
The A1, the bomber.
And then my buddy Salty bought the E1, and I think my other buddy Juro bought the A1. So we kind of have I haven't bought a ship in like 2.5 years, and it takes a lot for me to open my wallet. And I saw that ship and was instantly like, that's cool.
Mm.
And I love the fact that it has 10 bombs. I love the fact that they're smaller and you're gonna be able to get in a lot faster than the Hercules. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So
Darsh?
I like it. I really love the Normandy vibe, but if this design language is anything to go by for the future, I think I'm just gonna have to melt everything I have and get the Genesis Starliner when it's out.
if it's a full size,
When it's
if
a
it's a
full
full
size one of
size
these,
Normandy, it's like,
Yeah.
It might change. I mean, this might be the
Might change,
miniature
yeah.
concept of it, because this might be because they did change. They said they were going to change the concept entirely. So
Yeah.
that could be the reconcept. It's just the Spirit is just a
Mhm.
downsized.
Yeah.
It's like those what are those like 707s versus the 747 or whatever. Like, are the
Yeah.
the smaller versions?
Yeah, especially if it comes in 3 different variants like the Spirit did. You have the huge, NPC luxury hauler, or you have like just a personalized ship for
Mhm.
like a
Home.
relatively crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, a home sort of version. Yeah.
I mean, I think
Oh,
the
that would be
C1
amazing.
would be amazing for that. I think the C1 is a fantastic entry into the lineup.
Yeah.
Of the $100 ship category to 120, right? Because it's the Freelancer, the Cuddy, and
And
this. I think it's
this, yeah.
fantastic.
In terms of civilian modes, yeah, because the only other one is the Vanguard, and it's not at all a civilian module ship at all. So it's the only
The
thing
what?
the same size. The Vanguard, the Vanguard lines, the Aegis Vanguard, the Harbinger, the
the Harbinger as a drop ship.
yeah, well, no, I mean like the that whole lineup, the Harbinger, the
that has multiple little things like that.
it's
Multiple variants.
it's the same
I'm sorry,
size.
yeah.
It's the same size as the Freelancer and the Cutlass. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So-
I was gonna say, because that's a $250 ship. Like,
Yeah, no,
that's a much different price category.
It's the same size but different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not buy one. I did buy one, but not one for myself. One for a future giveaway because it's great price. I always prefer CIG selling smaller, cheaper ships because I think those sell better, and I think more people would be willing to purchase them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they learned
more starters like the 100i and the
Yeah.
Pisces and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think they learned their lesson on the steel, because this ship I thought was perfectly priced for what it offered.
So Darsh, you are a curse because Disco Lando just rated us, and I think he rated us last time we did a 24-hour live stream. He rated us when you were here on.
Yeah.
So you bring the disco. You are a disco attractor.
Hi, Jared.
Oh no.
Enjoy your office, Jared. You can come on and talk if you like, but yeah, we are at a time schedule. Like I will be as mean as Tyler and tell you to keep to wrap it up. So maybe in the next session, but good job on that there, Jared. Next. We heard us talking about the Genesis.
Yeah, Discord heard me talking about the Genesis. Yeah, and he immediately had to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stevie Dancer asks, how do you feel about the Van Duel helmet being able to be found around Stanton versus the work you had to get it originally? We recently got rated by Salty Mike, so this is another question that's very, very important to Mike, that whole question.
Yeah. I think they should be, I think it's fine if it's just for this patch.
Yeah, because it's going to get wiped. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that permanence of it, no, don't do that. But I think if it's just for the patch and you can run around for Halloween in it, I think that's fine.
I hate the helmet, but I don't like stuff that is limited by a very specific event.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to get it. Maybe if they just repeat it, or these it should be probably a lot rarer as a loot find. But I don't like stuff that it is limited to this one specific time that you could have gotten it, but oh no, you had to go to the hospital or something, and then you missed out.
So apparently it's persistent. How are they going to persist a single item in your inventory? That seems odd.
I think they said if you have it by the end of the month, it will be bound
Added
to your account in the hangar.
account?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that I approve of that, but I'm
Yeah.
you know, it's just kind of stinks. It kind of stinks for the guys who actually went out like Salty and did the 50 PvP kills, and it's just that's a grind.
But do you remember what that turned out to be? It was
conga
lines.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna find a way to cheese it. So
yeah, but there's a difference between personal achievement. Like you can cheese it, but then some people actually took it seriously and did the job that they were supposed to. And it's something like that is a personal thing. It's a personal accomplishment, and people take pride in those personal accomplishments, and that's why you have achievements. That's why you do these sorts of events. So people like we all like. I participated in the first Xenothreat event. I know you probably did, Kel, and you did as well, Darj. And that was an experience. We're never going to experience the first Xenothreat again because ever since then they've changed it and improved it or changed it over. That's kind of and I got a CDF little thing for participating in the Xenothreat event. I am not going to fucking lose that thing because it's my thing for participating in Xenothreat. Like, that's cool. Yeah. I like that. If they just said you can find that anywhere in a loot table, I'd be like, wow, fuck me. I guess I just spent all that time working on my reputation with Xenothreat for fucking no reason. And it just ends up there. So
well, they could always make this one a different color. And then, so it's not Slide as cool. And then they could bring back the annual Halloween Kill 50 People event. And then every year you have an opportunity. That probably
would have been a better way of doing it, especially because Xylos went online about it and talked about it, why they did that like that. Now they have backend systems to track these sort of things properly with UI and stuff.
I think it would have a better solution would have been if you kill someone with a Vanduul mask, you could keep, and it was in your inventory by the end of the month, you could keep it. That would encourage PvP because now people are like, you have the mask, I'm getting the mask,
Yeah. And it's light armor, so your headshots are
more people would be all about the constant murder, and that would add something more to the game than anything else. So
sure, yeah,
but that's comes back to the same thing about like the subscriber exclusive items being in the loot table. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, it's subscriber.
Some of them are, yeah.
I don't mind that too much because it's just it's like buying ships. It's like you can buy ships in game. It's money.
It could have been done better, but especially if it was a lot rarer and if it was in this very specific. I don't know. We don't have the Vanduul in game, so you couldn't just go and get a Vanduul head and turn it into a mask.
Oh gosh, that's dark.
All right, next question. Let's move on because we've got 17 questions and we've got
we're already
15 minutes.
40 minutes late.
Yeah,
we can do it. Let's go.
It's going to be more than 24 hours. You realize that this
point, right? Not 40 minutes late. We started at
3.
Yeah.
We started an hour and 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, so we've got 30 minutes left.
Yep, we're on time.
But I thought it was a 1 hour thing.
No, it's 2 hours.
2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not late. It's 1 hour for each section, so which is why we have to go through those.
Oh, right now.
Dar's just having coronary after coronary.
I mean, I made the fucking image for you anyway, and it didn't click.
Yeah. Okay. So Ferrister is asking, does Jrdf do custom order for scale models? Thinking tabletop sized. Like, could we buy from Jrdf a customized like something the size of my desk for Connie?
If you can afford it, sure. You send me a message. I'll ask JR.
Okay, there we go. Will Darj do?
If you got the money, we'll make it. That's it.
will Darj do the translation to Slovenian Croatian for the first Star Citizen?
I mean, if CIG wants to employ me as the Slovenian translator for the entirety of the game,
it's only like 1 million lines of text. You'll be fine.
All right. Pull out some of these other ones.
The amount of effort and the amount of people playing Star Citizen that would benefit of it being in Slovenian just really is not. It is not worth it.
Okay, I'm going to reject some of these because some of these are the same questions about capital ships we already talked about.
That's a good question. How are you liking your personalized Redeemer?
I hate it. I hate it. So those of you who don't know, CIG decided to finally pull the trigger. They threatened me this multiple times, and I've challenged them every time, and they backed down. And so finally, the CitizenCon, they sent me a LTI redeemer, which is not, I cannot melt, I cannot upgrade, and I cannot give away. It is stuck with it. I cannot, and it's labeled as Paul's favorite ship. So I am not allowed to get rid of it, and I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate the damn thing.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think it has a place in the verse. That's so.
Oh,
funny.
It does. I get. It's one of those things.
You can draw it and fly it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can draw it and fly it. I'm just not going to out of principle. I'm just going to blow it up every time every time it comes out there. For those who are wondering, the link to donate is ! charity for those, because we got a lot of people who came in late. So that we're doing a charity for Gamers Outreach, which is a group that helps. It's a worldwide charity that deals with children in hospitals to help give them sort of laid up stuff. They've helped lots and lots of people in the past. So this is the second time I've worked with them too. All right. Next question comes from, let me post it down. Do you have any idea of how to get rid of it? No, I don't, because I can't. Like, it's just impossible.
When we have like legal ownership of ships settled, you could probably hand it over to someone, but during a reset, it'll just come back to you.
Yeah. Would Paul like to have a bar like they had at CitizenCon? I will serve drinks at that bar. Jared can't stop me. I'll find a way. All right, even if it gets me permanently banned, where security drags me away from CIG Studios,
we know exactly where it is.
Yes. But yes, I'd love to have something like that. Going through some of these quickly. Paul, how are you holding up? Not tired yet? Make sure you hydrate. No, I got 8 hours of sleep. I'm fine. I'm yawning still because I'm still waking up, but I'm doing good. And I just finished my second Nalgene of water, so I'll be fine. Let's see. All right, so I got through all of the easier ones. Did we get any news about Theaters of War at CitizenCon? No. Okay, there's a bunch of questions on what company do you think is going to be the mid-tier mining ship?
I think RSI is winning.
RSI is winning currently, yeah.
Last time I looked, yeah. I think it's good. I originally wanted MISC, but I think they have, because I like the MISC aesthetic as well, but I think RSI is due another ship. Yeah.
Hate the MISC aesthetic. It's a wart. All the ships are flying warts.
They're the closest we're going to get to Federation starships, Darsh. You know that.
The RSI Mantis is a Federation starship.
It is. Oh yeah. No, I think RSI will be fun though.
Yeah.
A good blend of industrial, but with just wholesome sci-fi, good feels.
Speaking of Star Trek, have you seen the New York Citizen Comic-Con trailer for Star Trek Picard Season 3? Oh my god. If you take 5 minutes, Paul, between guests, and watch that. It is.
I'll watch before I go to bed. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
All right, so I've got to go through this because we still got about 15 minutes left, and I'm still down to 8 questions. What's your opinion? I'm going to save that one for the last one because that's a good one. And we already talked about the Spirit series, so we got that one. Okay, I'll talk to that in a moment. What did you think of that was shown at Squadron? What did you think of what was shown on Squadron 42? Did it surprise you that something was shown at all? At least I was not expecting anything. It's still not been shown. We didn't see anything of Squadron we hadn't already seen.
Yeah. I mean, like you said earlier in the stream, there was the leaked footage, but I mean, I didn't detect that there was anything substantial on Squadron. They mentioned it a couple times and how they're using it as a springboard for the PU as well.
But we've known that for
ages.
A while. Yeah. So
what they showed off was
what exactly are they referring to?
Yeah. The fact that you remember that section, the 2-hour section where we got all the things like the AI checking and all that sort of thing. That's all Squadron.
Oh,
That's why they were showing it off.
I didn't detect that, but
okay. But that's Squadron, but it's going to be coming to the PU, which is why they showed it
Right.
off. They said that like this stuff which is going into the PU in the future. It's just been built in Squadron first.
I mean, again, I thought the searching and all that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I hope they have several different types of they have archetypes for combat. I hope they have archetypes for searching. Like you have
You got to have the lazy guy.
They have the lazy guy that doesn't go back to
Yeah.
search stuff he's already searched before.
Yeah.
And you have
yes.
yeah, and you have the paranoid guy who keeps going back, just in case he missed something.
You got the guy from Andor who just won't leave well enough alone until he burns his own career down.
Yeah.
Like that guy, he's gonna find you. But yeah, you got to have the lazy guy, right?
Well,
because they're like they won't stop looking until they find you. Well, let's get like lazy, determined, right? I don't know, obsessed. For search criteria, I think that would be great.
Well, the thing is that's the trait systems for. Like the idea is the traits you can just bolt on new ideas that don't do traits to the system, and it'll cause a different behavior based off of what's going on. So, those are pretty cool. All right. Will they ever make smaller bombs for fighters to carry?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
they said they were going to give 1 to 3, right?
Yeah, size 1 to 3s.
1 to 3s, then you have 5s, and then right now you have 10s or 9s. What is
Are
it? What
those-
is Are they 10s in the?
I think they're size 10s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bomb,
Moabs. Yeah.
Moabs. Yeah.
So it's the way I understood it is basically you'll be able to attach bombs to missile racks, but instead of them being self-propelled, they just fall down.
Yeah, I don't think we have a full confirmation of that, but it's if you read the tea leaves, if you see the way that they've been doing things, it's pretty obvious they're gonna. That's a direction they're gonna go. So.
And that's the way they absolutely should go.
Mhm.
I mean,
So.
I think it'll be great. The only challenge is going to be, I think, is the UI swap, right? Because right now, missile operator mode is bomb operator mode, and you just get a different UI. And so, if you do a mixed load, it's going to have to rotate when you select the weapon. So if you rotate to bomb, boop, that bomb UI has to show up, and back to missile, boop, that UI has to show up. So as long as they can work that out, there's no reason why they shouldn't allow us the glory of the multi-role fighter, truly the fighter bomber, and I think that would be great. But I think they're going to do it.
I think that's the next step in that development of it is they're going to make a fighter bomber. So if they can make a fighter bomber from like Drake or from Anvil, so that they can say, hey, this is a fighter bomb. I can attach bombs. I can also use that, and we can swap between the different modes. Boom, bam, boom, you're done, kind of thing.
And I think like things like the Harbinger, which has that size 5 torpedo bay, should be able to also carry size 5 bombs. Yeah. And then and so it should roughly be translatable.
Probably a different module just because of how bespoke that loading system for the torpedoes is, but yeah.
All right. I'm going to move on to the next question. I've kind of done a little bit more. So we've now down to 4 questions. What company do you think is most likely going to be build the competitor to the Kraken as a carrier or even a smaller carrier? Maybe even 4 light carriers rather than 8? I don't know what the 4 light carriers is, but the Pegasus. But in terms of like that size variant.
Well, I mean, the Kraken's big. But the Pegasus and all the artwork anyway was gargantuan.
Yeah, 900 meters long. Yeah.
I mean,
Kraken is slightly longer than the Idris, so
right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so in the world, right? So I call the Kraken like an America or a Wasp class LHA. Yeah. And then and I recently learned the difference, so Tree will be happy with me. But I'm as an Army guy, I'm working with the Navy right now, so I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. I think it could be this Anvil ship. That would be pretty cool. I mean, it could be this upcoming Anvil ship. That would be amazing.
An assault carrier kind of thing.
Yeah, but something that's actually heavily armored. Maybe it carries a few less landing craft, but it builds in kind of what Tree wants, which is that ability to launch drop ships or even set down and drop off tanks and things like that. That I don't know.
I'd like something like that.
The Kraken is really kind of your crazy old man civilian ship. It's not a military per se vessel.
It's a mobile space station is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not designed to be anything but a mobile space station.
So I think a competitor would be a true like purpose-built military thing of the same size. And really for that you'd have RSI, Aegis, Anvil. You could get the Jupiter, but I think even the Jupiter might be too big, right? Because that's the Crusader car carrier that was militarized into a carrier.
Yeah, it's not even a military ship. It's just a civilian.
It's a transport, isn't it?
It is, right? But they did do a military run of it, right? I think I read that somewhere.
They may have done it, but it would be like a civilian version, like the military taking a civilian cargo ship and then using
Sure. Yeah. I would say it'd be one of the big three though: RSI, Anvil, or Aegis. Pure fleet military.
Yeah, probably not Aegis. I would say RSI or Anvil probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Aegis is losing influence. Yeah.
Already has the address though, so.
Just Build and Play asks, what are your expectations regarding the release of the Odyssey, the Expanse, and the new A1, C1, and E1? In terms of release, not anytime soon. Maybe the A1, C1, and E1 probably sooner. I heard someone's in chat say it's coming for 318. I never heard any confirmation it's coming for 318. I think the earliest we'd see it is spring of next year because that's what kind of happened.
Odyssey maybe for 4.0 with Pyro, just because it's been connected to Pyro this much. With, Jack's taking it in there.
And given the, especially if they can get the fuel harvest mechanic and being able to refine quantum fuel internally, and because Pyro is so big, this would be the great ship to go drive around and never run out of fuel. So yeah.
But if you have the Odyssey, then the Expanse is pretty easy. It's just the same thing, except for similar to the Starfarer. It's the same thing. You can process fuel, so it wouldn't be too far away. I wouldn't expect much until at the earliest next year for those ships. Probably longer, especially with the Odyssey. I expect it to be longer personally. But all right, last two questions. Just Build and Play asks questions, especially for Paul, but also for Atir and Darj. Do you think that CIG will make a newer gen of the Crusader Jupiter capital ship Fairy and actually put it in game? No. They've said that. No. I can give you the reason why. Its size is nuts.
Yeah.
Because the Jupiter would have carried shuttles to market. So minimum size, I would say, is 10 shuttles. So if you look at the size of the Crusader shuttles in that shuttle you around in Orison, put 10 of those down and tell me the size of like end to end how long that would be. And that would be the minimum size.
Well,
of
the pictures, the art of those things, though, I think they're even bigger because you think about it. What does a car carrier today carry? It carries a couple hundred vehicles, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you guys remember? I think you could package it a lot easier, especially because it's a spaceship.
Yeah.
I think it was the 70s. The Chevy Nova was able to be transported vertically, so they created like specific train carts, so they could mount them on like this, like one on each side. So if you put them in vertically, it does shrink the overall size of the ship. But then it has to be as tall as the shuttle is long.
Yes. And that's the problem. And modern car carriers are hundreds of that. So if this was an actual economically viable, you're probably thinking more than 10.
Somebody said Bengal size. It would be enormous.
Easy.
It would be.
And I can see why they would, like, say, the army eventually in lore, they purchased a couple of these to use them for movement. Because you're going to put like an entire tank battalion on the damn thing and move it to.
We have Roros now where an entire brigade combat team sits on this roll-on, roll-off ship, and they are parked around the globe in very well-known locations because you can't really hide it.
Yeah.
And if you need to go someplace, you pull up, ramp drops, the contractors pull everything off, soldiers link up with it, and away you go. That ship is perfect for that.
Says,
that's huge.
Hulls.
That ship is huge, isn't it? It's like the size of a modern.
It's a massive vessel, massive, and it's carrying an absurd amount of tonnage.
Yeah,
right. Because every M1 is a 70 tons. You've got 44 minimum for the battalion,
plus support crews,
plus
support
all the
vehicles.
other battalions' level of equipment, plus it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a big ship. It's a
but
big
I think
ship.
as Othman says, it's like you'll be using the hull ships for transporting ships.
Yes,
like, because they are designed differently. Like all the Crusader ships are gonna be designed to hold the cargo internally, and that just balloons the size of the ship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're over time. Or almost over time. So I'm gonna drop some of these, but so generally speaking, I don't think we're gonna see it because CIG even said it would be a huge ship, and they've already takes a long time for them to do those sorts of things. So it'd probably be more different, like the whole series. So last question, I'm gonna drop some of these. I'll add some of these to the next round. All right, three Demonica and Big Black, if you're okay with that. It's next round because it's slightly different. But Zal asks, and this is the important one, what is your opinion about the attributes / skills Tarkov-esque stuff for 4.0? Speculation on how might this properly work in our verse. For those of you who don't remember, the question is, or the thing is that like the more you do something, the better you will get at it. So like the more you move boxes, the stronger you're going to get. The more you run, the more endurance you're going to get. So you will have a passive system of getting better at something while you are doing it, which is something that happens in Tarkov. There's a much more egregious system in.
I thought Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is what I thought.
Yeah,
actually, not even San Andreas. GTA 5. Because it has basically just the more you run around, your stamina, bar goes up a bit.
Yeah.
But you don't actually get the whole benefits. Like if you don't do it, you get fat. If you have to go to the gym to bulk up.
That would be amazing. Just eat cheeseburgers, eat Whammer burgers, and just and just get huge. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I know. What I think about it. I think there is some limited goodness in it, giving you a couple more ticks in stamina or through the fitness category. It makes you be able to carry that heavy armor a little bit better. Certainly soldiers train constantly to be able to wear that type of stuff and then effectively operate in it. But it can't be.
It can be overpowered.
Overpowered, yeah.
But I think stims and drugs will actually be a bigger benefit to whatever you can train up to.
Yeah, So like techniques are like takedowns, traversal, right? So moving on uneven terrain, things like that. Bottom line, I think it has some goodness in it, but it should not be game breaking. I shouldn't be able to like one punch someone, right? Because I'm so strong, right? That I feel like that would be a bit silly.
So, not a multiplier of your skill, but just a slight.
Maybe
augmentation.
Maybe if you're sprinting, right? Yeah, maybe. And like if we're sprinting, right, and your heart rate's up, right, and all this, and you go and you stop and you go to a high ready, and you're gonna engage somebody with your rifle. Maybe your breath stabilizes a second or two quicker than the other guy because you're constantly doing FPS combat. You're constantly moving in that armor, and so your body's adjusted to it, right? It's just that a second or two that lets you zero in, accurately fire,
and then
move on.
Yeah, but like if you're not trained, that your aim just goes like this, not being able to hit anything, that is something they
too far
avoid.
Yeah. Yes, I mean I'm not. I think the result of you being able to zero in and hit a target should be the same. It's just like 1 second, 2 second quicker if you're trained, if you've spent a lot of time doing it and your attributes kind of lean that way.
I'd also say a use it or lose it would be a good way of putting it as well. Like if that's all you're doing, if you are a bunker mission man, you are running around, you are using your FPS weapons, those attributes will go up. But then you suddenly become a hauler. It's not like you're suddenly going to be able to still keep all of those abilities. It should have an atrophy where it goes down, where if you don't use it, it goes away.
Yeah.
And obviously
it should be slow. It should be slow because I can still fire a rifle pretty darn good, and I haven't done it in a while. Right. But I think it should go down a little bit because you do lose the edge. You absolutely lose the edge. So
and then at the same time you also have the death is going to reset all those skills because you're going into a new body. So like that's one of the reasons. I mean, that's what this is for. That's to me immediately when I saw this is a regen thing. This is a specifically to counter people from just going, I'm going to take the Suicide Express, the regen express out to where we're going to go. So
yeah, that's true.
That makes sense.
No, I like that. Yeah. Somebody said in the chat, like, give us a skill tree. I mean, I think they've said
no,
they don't want to do that.
No.
And I like that. I like that where like if you screw up and if you die, right? Yeah, I mean, your body now has to be retrained to that peak proficiency of what you're going for.
It kind of really doesn't make sense because all of that is supposed to be because when you get a scan, it's supposed to capture everything about you.
And the connection. But at the same time, that's an easy wipe saying that the scan isn't that precise about.
And maybe you lose 50%.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't have to be a complete reset because you're right. You go in at peak proficiency, you scan, right? Your scan is you at peak, but maybe they just can't 3D print your body at peak, right? So you take a 25% dump or 30% or something. And you're not losing everything. Kind of like when you die, you don't lose all your rep, but you lose a little bit of your rep. Some of that carries over as the child or whatever of this great warrior or the hero. But it's the same thing. You die, you gotta work on it. You gotta get back up a little bit.
Sure.
All right. I think that's a much longer discussion we're gonna have at some point about that.
Especially about regen. Like I pitched the idea a long time ago that if you go to a cheap regen place, they have a bigger chance of screwing you up. And then and then but if you go to the best place that Hurston Money can buy, you can get like a pristine copy, or maybe even like pay someone to mess with it to get a better copy, like a better version of yourself after your regen. But
all right. That was our question and answer. Thank you so much to Atira and Darj. Atira on YouTube and Darj at Darionator.com. Go check them out. I'm cutting us off because I got to move on to the next section. This is a 24-hour live stream. We have raised so far. Gosh, let me take a look at this number. It's an insane amount.
$435. That's 140 since we got on, I think.
So 140 in 2 hours. The goal is 1,000 for this entire thing. So if we can do 1,000, great. If we reach 1,000, we'll do a giveaway. If we go more than beyond 1,000, we'll do more giveaways. So come join us live for this. You can't, if you already watched this pre-recorded, it's already over with. These things have already been done. But keep watching. We'll be coming back for Atira, Kel, and Darsh here. My brain is already starting to fry, and it's only 2 in. Astral Gemini and Zark will be coming on to talk about next. So thank you for watching. And I, as I always say, hope to see you someday in the black.